Howdy folks, welcome back to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. I'm taking the old Bf109 F4 out for a spin in historical battles. There it is. Lovely aircraft. Mine is, well, almost collided on takeoff there. Mine is fully upgraded. You can see I have the underslung 20mm cannons under the wings, which doesn't matter in arcade, it just gives you more firepower. But it really does affect the performance in historical. The aircraft is armed with three 20mm cannons. The one in the nose, the main cannon, has 200 rounds of ammunition. The two 20mm cannons in the suspension pods under the wings have 250 rounds of ammunition. And it also has two machine guns in the nose, 7.92mm, both with 1000 rounds of ammunition. Historical battle, Battle of the Bulge. The Germans versus the Americans. Quick look, see what we're up against. Difficult to tell. I don't really recognise the icons of the various aircraft yet. Obviously you can tell what's a ground attack aircraft and what's a bomber, because they have rockets or bombs next to their icons, but the fighters, I can't really tell the difference yet. I know guys like Ram JB can tell just by looking, but not me. So, historical battle. And this is what they're like. The maps are absolutely huge. This is not arcade battle, where you're fighting on a map that's only a couple of kilometres across. And there's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Actual aircraft performance matters in historical. Who has the energy advantage matters in historical. This isn't like an arcade battle where you can dive on somebody, fire a burst, miss, and have him pull a high G turn without losing any speed, and then catch up with you as you accelerate away. Right, this stuff doesn't happen in historical. Whoever has the energy advantage is usually the guy that wins, and I am a complete noob at trying to employ proper fighter tactics. But we'll see how it goes in this one. So, yeah, here we are at the start. I'm just trying to gain some altitude. Trying to put myself in a good position for when we meet those enemy fighters. There are the AI B-17s are coming over to bomb the German positions around Bastogne. As the Germans, it's our mission to stop them. Although it's usually the case that these things end when the enemy team runs out of aircraft. I've very, very rarely seen, even though this is technically a ground strike mission, I've very, very rarely seen these games end due to all the ground targets being knocked out. And that's pretty much because bombers suck. I have a fully upgraded B-17G. I did it as a sort of experiment. I spent a lot of gold on it. It has an ace crew. It has every upgrade available to an aircraft in the game. The B-17G has one of the toughest airframes in the game to begin with, and it's got all the survivability upgrades, the performance, the flight handling, the gunner upgrades, everything. And it still just gets one-shotted by Bf109Gs. It's not even funny. I mean, you try to fly those things high, and it doesn't matter because the Focke-Wulf 190s and Bf109Gs are already waiting for you at 6,000 metres, and they just fire one burst from their triple 30mm cannons, and your plane blows apart. And even if they're not up there waiting for you, you can't hit anything from 6,000 metres anyway. You try, at high altitude, 4-engine heavy bombers were not designed to take out manoeuvring tanks from 6 kilometres up. That's just not what they were for. And you try to take them down low, and you can imagine how long a heavy bomber survives below 1,000 metres in altitude in historical or arcade. And that's pretty much the only real place people have success with heavy bombers is in arcade. They gain a little altitude at the start of the battle, and then they just dive at the nearest column of heavy tanks, carpet bomb them, usually die immediately afterwards, or occasionally survive for a little while longer, but not at higher levels. At lower levels, the bombers ain't so bad, you know, rank 6, 7, around about that sort of area, because the enemy aircraft just don't have the firepower to take you down quickly. When you're flying B-17s, the opponents do. Trying to fight off aircraft armed with multiple 30mm cannons when all you're shooting back at them is 50 caliber machine guns, you need to get pretty lucky to survive the onslaught long enough for your 50 calibers to make any kind of difference. And if it sounds like I'm complaining, I'm not. That's as it should be. Killing B-17s is what Bf109Gs and Focke-Wulf 190s were for. And if an interceptor comes across a lone bomber isolated from the pack, then yeah, they should have no problems whatsoever killing them. And that's kind of the problem with bombers in War Thunder. Because, you know, a B-17 would never fly alone. They would fly in a formation of other B-17s, which would allow them to mass their firepower. It just doesn't happen in War Thunder. And so you end up with lone bombers being picked off by bomber interceptors. Exactly as intended. Unfortunately, that's not much fun when you're the one flying the lone bomber on your team. Anyway. Here we go. I have the height advantage over these fellas, and I'd like to try to keep it. So what do we have? There's a lot of Spitfires. I certainly don't want to get into any turning fights with Spitfires. You can do that in arcade, it doesn't really matter. People often say, oh Jingles, I'm watching you flying your German fighters getting into turning fights, and oh, and I just shudder. And it doesn't matter in arcade battles, it really isn't an issue. In historical, however, different matter. There we go. Not Focke-Wulf, an F4 Corsair, and I've missed him, and I am doing it wrong. But the Corsair doesn't turn very well either. Now, he's gone into a dive, and I don't know what the hell's happening to my plane here. I was initially attempted to go into a dive after him, but I'm never going to match the dive performance of a Corsair. So he's trading all that speed for height, and I'm still pretty fast. And look at how the plane's wobbling around here. Now those of you who actually know a thing or two about aerodynamics will probably be able to tell me what's happening here. I really don't. I have no idea. I just know that this is not how things should be. And I haven't learnt my lesson. I'm trying to follow him down in a dive. An F4 is, well, don't forget I'm flying a Bf109 F4, so a Bf109 is never going to match the dive performance of a Corsair. He keeps putting it into a steep dive and then trading all that speed for altitude. Don't forget the Corsair is a very, very heavy aircraft. It holds inertia very, very well. And he's zooming up again. And again I've missed him. Now, I'm keeping an eye on my radar here. If he had any friends with him, there's no way I'd be trying to pull this kind of manoeuvre. But I know the Corsair doesn't turn very well unless he deploys his landing flaps. But when he drops his landing flaps, he loses lots and lots and lots of speed, and he can't maintain this turn rate. And now I've got him. And I'm probably doing all kinds of things wrong here. But at the end of the day, he's dead. And I'm not. He's still got his landing flaps down. And he's still trying to turn, but his control surfaces are shot up. It's taken a lot of fire to put this guy down. Got him. Now remember, I only have 200 rounds of 20mm cannon shells in the main gun, 250 in the underslung gun pods. And there's a Spitfire. So time to help out my wingmen. Now a Spitfire is an entirely different proposition to a Corsair. Whereas I could turn and burn with a Corsair and be more or less able to match him, I'm not going to be able to do that with a Spitfire. And I want to loop around and get on his tail rather than diving straight at him at a high approach angle, and that's the position. Now, how good is this guy? Does he know I'm behind him? If he does, he's going to pull a right turn and try to get inside me, and he does, and I am so lucky I didn't write the plane off there. Now, I'm not trying to turn with the Spitfire. He will have sacrificed a lot of speed in that turn, whereas I built up a lot of speed in the dive. And whichever one of us he goes after, he's now an easier target for the other one. And there we go. The guy he was originally on the tail of took him out. And that's, you know, that's teamwork. Even though I didn't actually hit the guy, I managed to get him off the tail of the guy he was trying to kill long enough for that fella to turn the tables on him. And it looks like now there's only 2 of them left. And I'm thinking, should I go after the B-17s? But I don't have a lot of ammo left. More worryingly, I don't have a lot of fuel left. Yep, there's only 2 of them left. Now might be the time to start going after some bomber kills. It just depends where the other 2 pilots are. And I can't see them anywhere. Whoever they are, they haven't actually done an awful lot yet. They're very, very low on score. So, oh, there's one. P-63. Don't really know how the P-63 performs in historical battles. I know, again, it's not an aircraft you want to be getting into a turning fight with. It doesn't turn particularly well. But it's fast, and it's very heavily armed, so I don't want to be getting into a head-on pass with this guy. Unfortunately, he seems determined, and he has the energy advantage here, so it's pretty much I'm fighting on his terms here. Oh well. You see, I cannot outrun this fella, but I do not want to be getting into a head-on pass with him. So I need to build up some speed and try to make him... Where are my wingmen? I'm trying to make him a target for my wingmen. I'm never going to climb up in time to meet him. Where's he going? Basically trying to throw his aim off. Trying to make him sacrifice the energy advantage. Delaying, waiting for my wingmen to get here. But my fuel situation is looking pretty bad. Friendlies are coming. This is a bad spot to be in. Here he comes. He's just dived on me. And he's missed. I hammer the throttle open because I'm only going to get one shot. And I miss. And he dives on me again and again misses. But I've managed to survive long enough that I now have friends arriving. And I've got the energy advantage over him. He's trying to turn that speed into altitude again. Checking the cockpit. I know, I'm worried about how much ammo I have left here. I'm pretty sure I'm very, very low on cannon ammunition. And this fella is... What is he doing? Why is he flying around there at low altitude? Oh, he's trying to lead us over friendly anti-aircraft fire. And he's leading me further and further away from my airbase. And my fuel situation is starting to get critical. I'm going to start making some tough decisions. He's going into the climb. He's Probably means he's trying to loop around and come back at me. And he's going for a head-on. I hit him, he hits me. And my cannon's out of ammo. I'm down to my machine guns. If I'd been a bit closer to him, I could have caught him at the top of the loop and taken him out, but I just didn't have the speed to catch up with him. And I really don't want to be getting into multiple head-on passes with this guy. Now he's leading me towards his airbase. He's bringing it round again. Come on, where is the rest of my team? He's not going for a head-on. He's leading me further and further away. My fuel and ammunition situation is critical now. I may not even be having... Ah, crap, here comes another one. Right. Yeah, no. No. Sorry. I'm out of here. Focke-Wulf 190 arrived too little, too late. I have to run for home. I have very, very little fuel and I have almost no ammunition. Did what I could, stayed alive as long as I could, but it wasn't long enough for backup to arrive. And unfortunately, that Focke-Wulf 190's just put himself into a very, very bad position. He's probably cursing me now, thinking, "What, dude, I just arrived to save you and you bail out on me? Look at how much fuel I have. I can't do anything. I have to bug out. I have to RTB. You know, you took too long getting here, I'm afraid." And so it's back to base. The walk of shame. Left a wingman to die. Nothing I could do about it. And that airfield's a long way away. Fuel situation is... I don't even know if I'm going to have the fuel to get back. Burning that wartime emergency power really, really sucks your fuel. So throttle down, put it into a shallow dive, and let's see if we can make it back to the airbase. Well, the good news is the old F4 is relatively undamaged, so landing should be fairly simple. I'm actually going to touch down before the runway itself. Ooh, it was a little hard landing, but I'm in no rush. I'm under no pressure here. There we go. Nice and easy. Good stuff. And we're down. Reload, rearm, repair the minor airframe damage I took. Unfortunately, I'm now 15 kilometers away from the fight. The good news is, our Bf109 G2 just nailed that P63. The rest of the team have basically caught up. And it's now 2-on-1. I'm back in the air. But this is going to be over before I get any further input into the battle, unless the two guys on our team who are left suck massive amounts, or that Spitfire pilot is very, very good. And the two guys left in our team do not suck. That's a real tough position for that Spitfire to be in. 2-on-1, they're both good aircraft, they're both decent pilots. And as long as they just keep baiting and switching him, one of them dives on him, whichever one of them he goes for, that guy just needs to power away, and the other fella slots in on his tail. and they can make life very, very hard for that Spitfire. "20 kilometers away from that dogfight. If this ends up being me against that Spitfire, we've lost. Simple as that, because that means he's taken out 2 good pilots by himself, and I'm the last hope remaining for our team." And that's a position you never want to find your team in. Not with success riding on me not sucking. But it's never going to get that far. It looks like he's trying to run for home. He's probably out of ammunition. He's probably damaged. He's opening the distance up on me. He's probably trying to run for his airbase and use his airbase as anti-aircraft guns to help him out, which would make sense. He's trying to get in with 2 on, and there we go, he's gone. So that's a win. Enemy team has run out of aircraft. So on to the results. And I do apologise if you were coming to this War Thunder video expecting to see an 8 air kill streak. That's just not going to happen in historical battles, because I'm not that good and it's a historical battle. So you just saw me fly for 23 minutes and get 1 kill. But it was a quality kill. And more importantly, it's worth a lot more. 23,000 lions and 64,000 XP for that 1 kill. And yeah, you could argue that in the length of time it took me to fly that historical battle, you could have flown 2 arcade battles, got 15 kills, and earned the same amount of XP and credits. Yeah, but it would have cost you more in repairs, and you wouldn't be learning about how the aircraft is supposed to actually fly by doing it. So bearing in mind how much I actually suck at flying, that wasn't a bad result at all. And I am getting better. I've been going through fighter combat school with RAM JB and Bismarck. And just some basic tips that they've been giving me has drastically improved. Since I played this battle, drastically improved the way I fly. So hopefully we'll be able to see the fruits of that coming up in future videos. Until then, folks, watch your 6, and I'll catch you next time.